Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network, for the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews. Press 1.
Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. From the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, and the Schmoes Know, this is Meet the Movie Press, roundtable movie news and commentary from the industry's premier film journalists.
Good morning, everyone, and what a morning it is. I am Jeff Sneider, host of Meet the Movie Press, film reporter at The Wrap, at The Insider, all that good stuff. Here with me is co-host Simon Thompson.
Hello. I enjoyed Batman vs. Superman last night.
Ooh, so
Yeah.
that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Yep.
With special guest Josh Dickey of Mashable.
Welcome.
Thank you. I enjoyed Batman vs. Superman twice.
Oh, Christ.
We
Who
all
did you
enjoyed
annoy?
it so much, and that's our podcast for today. Thank you. Guys, Josh, how you been?
I've been good. I missed you guys.
Yeah,
I missed you.
we've missed you.
Thank you. Well, it's good to be back on this very good Friday, indeed.
Yep.
It's the day after Jesus got bitten by the zombie, right? And then...
I don't know if that was in my
Is that
Torah
a
section.
spoiler?
Oh, sorry.
That's actually a
Some of
spoiler.
us haven't read the Bible.
The big part of the story doesn't come until Sunday, so don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
Oh, okay, great.
It's on the extras, though.
Fantastic.
It's fine.
It's like the last shot.
It's Simon. So
Yes.
you went to a showing last night,
I did. I paid to see it.
like a real fan.
Yeah, I know. What the fuck? You say like a real fan. Just because I wanted to be able to... Because over the last couple of weeks, we talked about the movie a lot. It's inevitable. It's been everywhere. So I wanted to have an informed opinion today, because I did ask to go to
I
press
appreciate
screenings.
that.
It's my pleasure.
Looking at you, Mark Riley, if you're watching this.
It's the one I've taken for the team. The one, I swear to God, if I have to go and see something like Mall Cop...
Did you go to
then
like
I'll
a
be pissed
midnight
off.
showing or like 8
No,
o'clock,
I went to
10 o'clock?
6:30 at the Grove
It's amazing that it's like starting that early now.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I would have gone earlier, so I hadn't really wasted an evening. But there was 6 and 6:30. 6 o'clock was pretty full. 6:30.
I was going to say it sold out.
Yeah, not sold out. A few seats there. 6:30 was busy, but as the evening went on, by the time I did my pre-purchase tickets, it was looking a bit thinner here and there. I mean, opening weekend already, it's done 27.7 million. Which is not to be sniffed at. I think that's coming at the highest pre-show Easter weekend for any film today.
We'll talk about the numbers in a bit, but let's talk about this movie.
It wasn't full. The audience didn't get particularly excited about it.
Were you excited about it? Give us your thoughts.
Was I excited about it? I was, even though I'm not the biggest. I enjoyed Man of Steel. You know, I'm that guy.
That's
so
fine.
I was interested
I enjoyed
in seeing
parts of Man of Steel as well.
Yeah, and I was interested in seeing what they've done, and there's been a lot of shit thrown at this movies. You know, the reviews have been horrendous. So I was very curious to see if it was actually as bad as some people have made out.
And?
Is it as bad as some people have made out? I don't think it is, to be honest with you. I didn't hate it. I would rather watch this again than The Green Lantern or several other DC movies. I prefer this as a Zack Snyder movie to probably about 80% of his stuff. I still think the only good movie that he's done is Dawn of the Dead, but there you go.
Okay.
I didn't hate it. It was just...
Do you like this more than Watchmen? Or less?
No, probably the same.
Wow.
Yeah, probably the same, to be honest with you. The problem for me with this film was the fact that there's a lot going on in the movie, but very little going on. It's really slow. For a film with so many dynamic characters in it, potentially, it's remarkably undynamic.
Yeah,
it's
got
really
some pacing
dull.
issues, especially at 2.5 hours.
And badly drawn characters. There are a lot of people in this that you're kind of like, why are you there? Characters that are established in the universe.
And are you writing a review for Forbes or doing anything
I
like that?
am going to write a piece for Forbes on this weekend, actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
Josh, you wrote something for Mashable.
I did. I was
Why
on
don't
the...
you recap that?
Okay, so I was on the first. Okay, so I was on the first wave of critics that hit the were right up against the embargo, which was a small group, and I think that was a bit of a misstep on the. I think what Warner Brothers was trying to do was to get the more favorable reviews out first and sort of see if they could seed the air with this idea that maybe it's not so bad. And what happened was that first wave came out and was like, oh man, that was a slog, and immediately emboldens everybody else
to go for it.
To just dance on the grave and throw flaming spears into it, and take a dump on every possible element, and it didn't work out. I think they would have done a lot better if they would have just let us all go at the same time and see the movie in a big group, and half of us probably would have been like, that was kind of fun, as a bit of a mess, and the other half maybe would have had their criticisms, but instead you get this sort of giddy, gleeful,
everyone
just
was enjoying sort of.
It was a tire fire, and I don't think that the film necessarily warranted that. I think that it's rife with problems. It's got a laundry list of things. I've already seen the pieces start to come out, and I'm going to do one of all the things that don't connect or don't make sense, and there's completely illogical character motivation kind of problems and stuff like that. I mean, you can go on and on all day. But what do you expect from a Zack Snyder superhero movie? That's what it was going to be. I mean, the guy's a stylist, and they've chosen to make a stylist's movie out of both Man of Steel and then this one too, and Justice League, I presume, which starts shooting in a couple weeks.
Right, and that's like been the big question everyone's asked me. Like with this reaction, is Zack Snyder going to part ways with Justice League? I don't see that happening. I think they're a little too late in the game.
Yeah, I roll my eyes so hard at that notion. I saw a New York Post story last night that was like, "Oh, is this going to change Warner Brothers' plans if it fails?" I'm like, "What is it going to? How is it going to fail to $170 million? Domestic opening?" Like, it's because some film Twitter bloggers didn't like it and decided to tear it apart. They're going to send Zack Snyder, for the exits. No, that's never.
Yeah, but these movies don't live and die on opening weekend. I think it's about having legs, and the word of mouth could definitely impact the run.
Well, this is what I said to someone last night. I don't see it having legs. Nobody coming out of that certainly the screening where there were walkouts, by the way. I thought
you are reporting walkouts.
So I'm reporting walkouts from the screening at
6:30.
Yeah. I thought people, and the row in front of me. So it's not like
had to get home for NCIS.
Maybe I missed them coming back. It's like they were right in front of me, and they went and they didn't come back. And there were probably 5 or 6 people.
That's crazy to me. Like, I get walking out of a Sundance movie, but it's Batman vs Superman.
Especially when you pay for it. It's not cheap to go to the theater. But the thing is, there was nothing there to keep the audience there.
So before we really get into this movie, I do want to talk about the circumstances. So you said that the screening that you attended was there weren't many people there.
I went to 2 screenings.
They could have fit a few more.
I went to 2 screenings. Both of them were in these giant IMAX room at Universal City Walk. Mm-hmm. One was the junket screening, so it was a Thursday, and the other one was the Tuesday morning. Was like, 15 or 20 people in each one. I mean, it was really spare. And I guess you were at the evening press screening where it was full. So clearly they were trying to filter through some maybe more positive voices at first, and that just didn't.
Well, I think they tried that with a premiere in New York to get some positive voices in there, and they did. But what they did is,
who would have thought New York is nicer than LA?
But I think it horribly backfired because obviously they let a load of people who are very pro Batman vs Superman and very pro in the DC camp to go in and say it was the best thing ever, best DC movie. Oh my God, you won't see a better film this year. And because that was so different to the other end of the spectrum, to me, it was just like it just made it seem a bit more unrealistic, as much as some of the really extreme critical reviews of it, where it were like, oh my God, if you see this, it's so bad you'll want to kill yourself.
It's not that movie.
It's not that movie.
But
it's also
movies
not
like
the brilliant movie at the other end of the spectrum.
I saw it a second time by choice because I kind of couldn't make up my mind after the first one.
There's a lot to take in.
Yeah, exactly, and I wanted to take notes, and I wanted to just sort of decide, did I like this or did I not like it? And I came to the conclusion that it's in the Venn diagram of movies great movies, terrible movies, movies that I like, movies that I hate. It's one of those terrible movies that I kind of like, and I would watch it again. I would sit through it again.
See, I would not. I thought it was truly horrible.
So you're it was an evil movie.
Now, here's the thing. I didn't think it was that bad while watching it. Like, it was an entertaining enough experience. It's a watchable film. But going back and doing the math, nothing makes sense. The first act, which I actually like the ideas that they're establishing and playing with, the themes, has nothing to do with the third act. No. Nothing at all. They're not connected. The Doomsday, I hated all of that. I hated the entire third act. It felt like the Green Lantern. Yep. It was just this big monster creature who doesn't know what happens if he kills all 3 of them. Well, what happens with Doomsday from there?
A great example of this was actually the couple that were sitting next to me at the screening last night when Doomsday happened. They were like, What the fuck is that?
Yeah, this movie didn't have monsters and that kind of shit before.
But they also, if you understand Batman versus Superman, you get some of those characters. But then this monster that doesn't really have anything to do with the main story. And if you're not really initiated into the DC universe, you're just left going, okay, so they're fighting each other now. They're fighting a monster. What's the monster? Who is he? What's the lore that goes with it? It came out of nowhere. And the point where Wonder Woman turns up, mild spoiler here, but we know she's in it.
Sorry. Every time you say Wonder Woman, I got to do the guitar riff.
Well, when Batman turns to Superman and goes like, "Oh, is she with you?" and the other guy goes, "Oh no, I thought she was with you," and I'm just like, look, if Batman and Superman don't know Wonder Woman's in the bloody movie, the audience is just.
Wait,
at
do
that
we even
point,
hear the name Wonder Woman? We don't hear that name.
No, well, it's also a point of levity in the movie.
It sounds like the Led Zeppelin thing.
It is, yes, it's a guitar riff with like a whammy bar, and it is the melody that Robert Plant sings in Immigrant Song with a lower octave note. Before I took notes on this.
You went back into the movie.
I've actually learned how to play this on guitar. Yes, it's do 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 do. Every time she comes on screen, you hear this stinger.
I thought the score was. I did not like the score, and it kept doing those light Superman notes, but then like ending after 3 or 5 notes.
Yeah. See, I liked the score until the end. When it's like, here's a theme for Wonder Woman, serious thing,
the
Wonder
Man of Steel
Woman,
score is
and
so
she
good.
doesn't do anything. She holds a shield at that point, and she's not actually doing anything. And I'm like,
I can't believe
you are just trying to cement the fact that she's got her own theme in the movie.
I can't believe there's been all these think pieces and all these rah stuff about Wonder Woman in this movie because she's barely in it and she doesn't do anything.
Wasted.
You can't tell it's Wonder. It's just a woman with powers. There's nothing inherently Wonder Woman about her.
Not one thing, and everybody's oh my god, Wonder Woman!
She
she's the best. She's the Wonder Woman we deserve, and it's like no, she's in the movie for. I had a reporter count. She's in the movie for 7 minutes. She has less than 20 spoken lines.
Right.
Almost all of them are to Batman.
They're unintelligible as well.
Yes, and listen, she could be great. Wonder Woman could wind up being great.
I liked
but
her
in this
movie.
And I liked her
fine.
too. I liked her too. But this is not the place to stake your claim on whether or not she's the Wonder Woman that we've just been dying to see.
Can I just say that I think Chris Pine has given his best performance in years in this movie.
That photo, yeah,
and he's in a still photograph.
Like a fucking badass. I
was
agree.
like, holy shit, he's nailing it.
That whole photo,
the
the Native American over her other shoulder.
You
or whatever.
You look cool too.
I don't know what's going on with that movie, but we'll see.
Maybe that will be the savior of the DC cinematic universe.
I don't think it will be. I'm not going to put money on that one.
I liked her in the red dress in those scenes with Ben. The interplay that they have felt a little like old school 40s, 50s Cary Grant. I don't know.
I liked how much of a creepy horn dog he was in that whole. He's like he's a little boozy and he's a little.
I forget if that was Drew or Devin's review, but he was like calling Bruce Wayne like a man of appetites.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, okay.
Whether it's for violence or in that case, romance.
I like that. Yes, he's a bat. He's a blood-sucking bat.
So here's the thing. I thought that this movie soared at only one point, and it was like about a minute. And I thought that was the montage with Superman saving people. From the roof in the flood, from the woman in the fire in the apartment and bringing her down, having everyone want to touch him. I got like a tear in my eye during that little sequence.
From the Russian routine Russian manned rocket launch where he just happens to be standing by.
Oh, right, and then carries it.
But can you explain to me
why is he there? He's there instead of writing his football story. That's what.
When he saves Lois early in the movie, how does he even know that she's in trouble? I don't.
Well, also the fact that in the montage, there's a bit where he's pulling a boat through an icy landscape. The CGI is awful on that, by the way.
That was a gross shot.
But also, it's like, what's the point?
Yeah,
it's kind of like, okay, so you can pull a boat. Nice work.
I don't think Superman has ever been considered so strong that he can drag a full sideways oil tanker over a frozen oceanscape. I mean, I understand he's supposed to be almost omnipotently strong, but that was a little much for me.
Okay.
And then he's got to kind of strain to pick up Batman in his armor. Come on.
So obviously there's been a ton of backlash. A backlash to the backlash. A backlash to the backlash to the backlash.
Backlash versus Superman.
I've got, death threats from DC fans. Just heard, what is it about this movie that is bringing out so much hate on both sides? And then what did we make of yesterday's, big story that went around with the cast reacting to that question? And just, I mean, we could spend the rest of the episode talking about that interview.
With the polite interviewing saying, so the reviews have been mixed.
Yeah, who was that doing the interview, by the way? Because I know it's a British journalist.
It was. I thought it was you for a second.
It was Yahoo.
You guys are all the same.
There's a very interesting tell in that, which is, everybody says, oh, I didn't look at the reviews. I didn't see them.
Right.
And, so he says they're mixed reviews, and then the cast is like, oh, they were mixed. Well, I don't care what people say. I think that's, blah, blah, blah. It's just for the fans. It's like, no, you read the reviews. You got the memo sheet. You know what's going on.
I thought the way it went down was like, what? Have you guys seen the reviews yet? And Henry Cavill fucks with them. He's like, no, what are they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then they go to Ben. So Ben, what do you think? And he's just like, yeah, I agree with him.
Yeah,
I think
ditto.
I like Henry Cavill as Superman. I like the physical look of him.
Yes.
I just don't like him as Superman.
He's a little stiff.
There's just something
He's kind of dead behind the eyes
missing.
a little bit.
But I quite enjoyed Ben Affleck as Batman. Even though,
Ben was good. Ben's the saving grace of this movie.
Totally. Even though he's Batman using violence against people, as in like using guns, and I'm like that. As far as I know, that's not really.
That is what would happen. I mean, let's be serious. Everyone's like shocked that Batman kills people.
But he's also not a real person.
When you're just
so it's not
beating
like
up everybody, eventually you're going to want to kill some motherfuckers. Like,
yeah,
I get that natural progression.
It's not a biopic. It's not the 50. News. It's.
He's not so finely tuned that he knows exactly how hard to slam a guy's head against a stone crate, so he'll immobilize and yet not kill him. People are going to die in the wake of Batman's attacks, and I think this is actually sort of more of a realistic nod to that. I that doesn't trouble me at all. But then I don't feel any sort of precious, holy feelings about Batman that a lot of people do, which is I think why they're piling on this movie in particular. And Superman is a little old-fashioned, and there's not I don't think there's a lot of personal connection to him, but people love Batman and they want him a certain way.
The movie just wasn't fun. I hated, again, that third act that just devolves into this punch fest, which was the exact same problem Man of Steel had.
Yep.
The movie seems to have multiple beginnings, including an origin story for Bruce that we don't need. Multiple endings, and then weird dream sequences and things that all could have been cut. Get rid of Costner, get rid of the Flash nightmare thing. I don't know what that was.
That was so badly handled. Because if you're not really that into the universe, but you just want to go and see the movie, it came out of nowhere.
You have no idea who that is.
Which come off the back of a scene, which is one of the best scenes in the movie, which was a dream sequence.
We don't unlock, but we're not going to unlock that scene until deep into Justice League,
that's
right?
What I hate
that's
about
when it's going to make sense. No, I know, and listen, but they have to do some of that. They have to do some groundwork laying, and reward you for hanging around, along the way.
So, what did you think of the introductions that come like 3/4 of the way through the movie? We get to see Cyborg,
Lazy.
Aquaman. Yeah.
Lazy, absurd, very badly drawn. Like Aquaman, first of all, ostensibly Aquaman does not want to be discovered, or he would have been discovered by now. Plus, and so they're shining a light with a probe into the ship, and he's like going up to it with his thing. Like, no, he would just retreat into the ship, and he'd be unseen.
Yeah.
The Cyborg thing was kind of awful.
Yeah.
It just was reminding me like an awful 80s movie situation where we see the guy screaming in agony, and then who were the other two again? Oh, the Flash with the man bun Flash. Yeah. How does he keep that man bun up there if he's going 800 miles an hour?
Well, he actually takes it out and then puts it back in again, but because he's so fast, you just don't see
right.
it.
Okay,
you
thank
go.
you. No, I'm
Spoil
sorry.
that one.
I'm glad you explained that because that one was bothering me.
Well, hair is kind of my department, as you can see.
I say, well, I would much rather go with your hair if I was
He's
going to be the Flash.
He's the next one who's overdue for a Harry Styles-esque haircut.
Yeah. No, the whole thing was just. I mean, there were characters that I did like. Like I said, I liked Ben Affleck as Batman. Right. I think there's some fun.
He's a winger, though. He was not going to screw that up.
I like Jeremy Irons.
Oh, God.
I did, but I only liked it because the only thing he was concerned about was not the destruction of Gotham or Metropolis, was Ben Affleck's Batman getting laid. It was like, the only thing was like, oh, that's very tragic. Have you had sex today? No, I haven't. Oh, no, look, there's a terrible monster. When was the last time you got laid? Look, Alfred, seriously, can you stop asking me about my penal activity?
I thought
it's kind of
he
distracting.
felt like this hipster uncle.
Bit of a drunk. I kind of like that.
He did not fit.
I liked him.
For me. But we haven't even talked about the most divisive aspect for most people, which is Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. Where do you guys fall on that one?
Okay, you go first.
I just couldn't stand his little whimpering. That started about halfway through the performance. I thought at first it was fine. He was fine. But then he started doing this thing where he would do these interstitial whimpers. And it started to just drive me nuts. He was... it's funny because at some point, I felt like... And the second time I'm watching it, I'm thinking, wait a minute. Is Lex Luthor the hero of this movie? Is he the guy who's the only one who's actually doing anything that makes sense? Because all of his actions up to a point are just trying to level the playing field with this sort of new threat that he recognizes, that just same as Batman. And now he's like, okay, the only way to really get rid of you guys is to get you to fight one another. Now, the really nefarious thing he does, which is to blow up I probably shouldn't spoil that here, but the congressional hearing doesn't go very well, and so that was pretty evil of him. And suddenly it's like, oh, okay, no, you're just unhinged. He has no motivation for anything that he's doing. His actions make no sense whatsoever, and I would have much rather seen that character just be sort of like a stealth hero, like you walk out and you go, wait a minute. Wasn't he? He was the guy.
For the record, I actually didn't mind Jesse's Lex in this. I didn't love it like I thought I was going to, but I love Drew and Devin's reviews, both of which were very, very negative. But they said like they give him credit for making a choice and sticking with it, and I actually didn't mind the choice. I thought he was okay.
Well, he's just playing. He's playing Max Landis. As Mark Zuckerberg, right?
And it's funny that you bring up Max because he was the first person who I spoke to about this movie. You know, he had seen it. And he just released a video yesterday on YouTube where he's just like, this isn't a Batman movie, it's not a Superman movie, it's not a Wonder Woman movie, and frankly, it's not a DC Comics movie. So I didn't read DC Comics. I don't know these characters in print. So when people say things like Zack Snyder must hate Superman, like I don't get that.
That is the most preposterous. And that got passed around for like 3 days and chewed on. And that is the dumbest thing I have ever heard. Zack Snyder does not hate Superman.
Yeah,
that's absurd.
I agree.
That's scurrilous and just trying to provoke anger.
Well, there's some comments on him. And Max Tilly said that Eisenberg was miscast, and here's my take on it. I don't think he was miscast. I think the problem was the fact that he couldn't decide whether he was Lex Luthor or some sort of hybrid between the Joker and the Riddler. Mm-hmm. He had so many characteristics. He had the persona of Lex Luthor, but he had the characteristics of other characters.
That's a great point. Yeah, he's stealing from other DC villains.
He never really owned it to me.
I kind of like that. He went by like Alexander Luthor in this, right? They never call him Lex, do they?
Well,
they alternated. They did a little bit.
They did a little.
But he does make a point in the movie of saying, and this is not a spoiler, but someone refers to LexCorp, and the sign, he goes, "Oh, that's my father's name." So obviously he's not the son of Lex Luthor, but it's kind of like obviously they're trying to get away from the old Lex Luthors and create Lex Luthor.
I see.
That's my take from that anyway. But at the end of the day, yeah, I didn't hate him, but he was just kind of redundant. He wasn't sinister enough, and he wasn't Lex Luthor.
I like your point, though. I think he's appropriating the Joker and he's appropriating the Riddler, and rather than making it something different, he's just like...
We don't need another Joker. We got that in Suicide Squad, and Warner are pushing that one. It was just an oversight, and they should have stamped down on that one.
Yeah, okay, there are a couple other things I want to talk about regarding the presentation of the movie and things like that. Okay. So you did not see this last night. We did, I'm assuming. The Zack Snyder intro with the begging for no spoilers.
Yes.
Weird. No? A little weird?
I think that's becoming sort of a thing, though, right? I feel like there's precedent.
From the filmmaker?
Yeah, I feel like there's a precedent for that I can't put my finger on what it was. But it does, at some point, it's like, yeah, okay, dude, we get it. Like,
I've seen letters or emails to journalists.
They also, frankly, they made us, and I was very unhappy about this. When we walk up on the desk, they give you an NDA to sign, which I will not sign.
Right.
And I think any working journalist out there, honestly, if you take yourself seriously as a journalist, never sign an NDA for any reason. This
is good advice here from
Josh. It's... You don't have to do it. If you gotta walk away from the screen, you gotta walk away. 90% of the time, if you make us think about it, they'll just say, "No, it's fine. Just go ahead." And if you really need to see the movie to do your job, do what I did the second time around, because my friendly publicist wasn't there to pass me on the line. Just sign it Dirk Diggler or something. Just like you put a fake name on it, because that's some BS. It's not binding. It just it's just another way of them trying to get in your head.
Right. It's a fear tactic.
Exactly.
Well, we got a couple of differing points in the chat. BBS was a huge letdown. BBS is a masterpiece.
A masterpiece.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but
Except
sorry,
anyone who thinks it's a
I think
masterpiece.
You're
wrong.
Not correct.
Yeah, it's
People
not a masterpiece.
People saying it's the best superhero movie ever. And obviously the debate about...
That's also wrong.
It's like someone said a mediocre film. This is from Mac Tilley. Mediocre film, great 2-hour Justice League trailer, which I think is a fair criticism because
It did feel like it. Yeah, I hate this. That these movies feel like trailers for other movies.
But
now.
in that
transitional
respect, it
film.
fails because it didn't leave me at the end of it going like, I can't wait to see Justice League. I was like,
it makes you fearful for Justice League. But
so
listen,
it didn't work.
Everyone's
going to
see these movies. I've never seen such a bad movie that I wouldn't go see. Sort of the next thing. Like if I'm committed to the universe, I'm committed to the universe. I guess I didn't see Thor 2. Yeah. I know people are shocked, but like, I think that's it.
Yeah.
This reminded me a lot of the Spider-Man reboot in that Man of Steel,
super like
Man of Steel, and the first Spider-Man reboot movie were both movies where I was like, okay, I'm looking forward to the sequel on this one. You set it up, you got me kind of on board a little bit. So let's see what you really got. And then the next one comes out and you're like, oh my God, no, never mind.
Yeah.
But they can't just shut this down like they shut down Spider-Man. Right. They have to really go for it.
Can I just ask if you're saying this because you were paid by Marvel
okay.
to say that?
How much were we all paid? And let's go around the room. And
there was a bullshit rumor going around this week that negative reviews for Batman vs. Superman or anything other than positive were basically journalists being paid by Marvel. Now, I have never taken money to do a review. I once worked with a company, I won't name the company, but I was asked to adjust my review because they had a financial interest from that film company in that particular title that I was reviewing. And my review was quite scathing, and they asked me to up my star review. And I said, if you want to do that, then you take my name off it, because that's not the star rating I'm giving it. So you sometimes can feel a pressure like that. But I have never come across a journalist who has been paid to do a review. And if you are a journalist who's done that, shame on you, because you're a little bitch.
I just love the idea that Marvel's paying journalists.
doing?
They don't even pay their own talent.
If Marvel wants to pay me whatever, right around the scale of whatever they're paying people to be in their movies to say things about other movies, by golly, I'll do it. And it'll be it'll get out, and it would be the biggest scandal to hit entertainment and journalism since I guess Sony made up some critics. But it would be terrible for them. They would never do a thing like that.
How much would you want actually for a review? What's like the starting price to buy you out?
At what point do I start to go, I got to start thinking about this?
Yeah.
But I would say $10,000.
I was gonna say 10, but then I was like, probably 5.
Yeah, I think 5,000. I'd probably hear the pitch, and then I'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. But I'd probably hear it out at 10.
But I mean,
how many pounds, Simon?
So we're only talking
5 English pounds, which is approximately $1 million. No, it's just the thing is that I've known people who've been asked for quotes completely cash free to put on. Someone I know did it for The Happening.
Ooh.
Regretted giving a positive quote. He was kind of caught on an odd moment in his defense. It was a positive comment
For money.
No,
Okay.
very clearly not for money.
Okay.
And he regrets that. He still gets the mickey taken out of him a little bit for that. And it was an honest opinion on a movie that wasn't particularly good, and he's never heard the end of it. So why any journalist would want to give a positive review for money when everybody is just going to rip the piss out of them or Granny's peach tea? That's in the film, by the way, which is probably one of my favourite bits of the movie. So
that was so weird.
So bad.
It was like this slow motion turn of the jug, and it's like
as if
we
we're
all know what it said as soon as it said tea.
But ultimately, when a film like this, like things like Transformers, is completely critic-proof, it's going to pull in money, and the reviews have been overwhelmingly negative. You don't need to pay journalists to write a shitty review, because if there are loads of shitty reviews, people are still going to go and see it.
Also, you don't need to pay anybody a dime to write a shitty review about this movie. That was just going to happen.
By the way, Marvel wants Batman to succeed. That's the thing that nobody gets, okay?
Yeah.
DC movies succeeding is good for the Marvel brand as well.
There's
It's all
definitely
connected.
there's definitely rivalry going on there, but yeah, they don't want to see this movie fail.
Listen, no, I think that they want to see Batman fail, but it's not necessarily good for business and who says that it's going to fail? We don't know, but I know that this movie, they're saying it costs $250, which you can never just trust me. Any number that they're copping to is not the number.
You always got to add. There's always an exponent.
Yes. So let's just call it $250, which is what they're saying. $150 for marketing. That's a $400 million buy. Now you need $800 just to break even.
Probably more like a B. You need a big B to break even.
Only $100 million. Probably.
Yeah.
But we're looking at
or make a slight profit.
Yeah, you need a big B to make it worth having done it.
Spent a lot on advertising.
Exactly. That's
I mean,
what I'm saying.
I haven't seen this level of advertising for a film.
Yeah, I was gonna say
for
150,
a long time.
150 for that outlay seems a little low. I almost feel like maybe
175.
Yeah, I almost think you're half a B in on this movie.
Yeah. It might be $1 billion to break even.
But there's other ways that they make money, and the money keeps coming in for years upon years. I mean, it might not be in
a whole
profit.
New line of Batman things.
Right. Yeah. It might not be in a profit a year from now, but 3 years from now, this movie will be fine.
Because this, we can. Who would you now like to see as the next Batman and Superman? Let's jump ahead into the future. Henry Cavill, probably his days are. I think he's got a couple more. Ben Affleck really hit. I think people are going to leave this movie digging Ben. We're going to see him in 2 Justice League movies, Suicide Squad briefly, and then his own Batman movie, most likely, that he could direct. So they've got him for the next few years. But let's look 10 years in the future. Who would you like to see as Batman and Superman?
Chris Pratt for everything.
Chris Pine. No, I honestly don't know. I mean, I didn't think that Ben Affleck was going to be a particularly good Batman. And I'm happy to say I was wrong.
Come on, he's a ringer.
I was happy to say
he's one of the best. He's one of the best working actors in the business.
I thought he was great. In the next 10 years, I think we've yet to see somebody who can actually fill those capes right now.
I'm dying to see The Rock as Superman.
Oh my god. Okay.
No.
I like it, but he's too old.
Or Batman. I mean, I know we're especially thinking 10 years in the future. Like, I don't know, The Rock as Batman, he'd make like such a cool Bruce Wayne.
After what Ben essentially did to his body to get to this, didn't we kind of see The Rock as
follow a similar
Batman?
regime.
Speaking of Ben's body, I think that you may have tweeted something about this or brought it up. Did you think they painted his abs a little with your magic software?
They definitely painted that scene where he's lifting himself up after the tire hitting and all that. Yeah, that's not him. I mean, it's him, but there's some
magic.
There's some
magic.
help there.
I think while we're seeing so many new young faces come into the universe who aren't well known at the moment, I don't think anyone that's around at the moment will be Superman or Batman next. I think it'll be someone...
People we don't even know.
People we don't even know yet. I would like to see old Batman and old Superman.
I thought way back when
Can't be shittier than what we've had to watch
way
recently,
back when
surely.
I had what seemed like a good idea at the time, but really would have been awful, which was John Hamm as Superman, because that's really more
That
about
would be good too.
That was kind of more about the face and the tone of voice and the they went for the extreme V-shaped muscular sort of bulldog physique with Cavill, and Cavill he's not bad, but basically he's Superman as iconography, right? He doesn't have any personality traits that necessarily really jive with our understanding of Superman. There's nothing about his energy or his aura that feels
charismatic and Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that
twinkle
film.
in
I
his
actually think
eye.
it might
That
be
should
because
have been better. Should have
He's
been bigger.
probably more comfortable being British and being sort of debonair, and he's a little cold and a little
By the
icy.
way, what is with his press tour? His press tour, where he's just like, "Yeah, I do it for the money."
Oh, that's fine. I mean, I like that. I think that's refreshing.
I guess so, but like,
I would play
it's not
Superman for the money. You want to pay me? I'll
not
play
a good
Superman
look.
for the money, not because
I just don't think it's gone over well with fans.
It's not good optics, but it is for me because I just like to cut right to the bone of the truth of everything, which is that you don't play Superman because you love Superman and you read all these comics as a kid and you just love doing this work. You love showing up on set for 17,000 hours a day. No, you're doing it because he's going to walk away with this with 0.04 points on this movie, which is going to set him and his family for life for the next 100 years.
And it's kind of like, didn't get James Bond.
That's true.
Do Superman.
I'm dying to see who's going to be the new James Bond too. Like I can't quite
Chris
put my
Pratt.
finger on
I
it.
hear it's going to be Chris Pratt.
I think they have to do. It is Chris Pratt. Didn't he say so on a red carpet somewhere? At this point, will there not be just like rioting in the streets if it's not Idris Elba? I mean, I want him to be. I almost can't see past him at this point as James Bond. I feel like maybe if they put anybody else in there, it's going to be a huge letdown. We've just been so acclimated to the idea, and it makes so much sense, and he fits, and and why not?
You don't think it'll be Tom Hiddleston?
Ugh, I like Tom Hiddleston a lot, but as James Bond, no way. Wow. Again, there will be, it would be, the outrage culture is just ready to burst.
Batman too, Black Batman.
I would love that. That'd be great.
I wanted to talk about the end credits scene or lack of one.
Okay.
You didn't. So you saw with the paid audience last night.
There wasn't one. There was nothing
to make
afterwards.
Sure.
I sat right through to the end.
Okay, yeah. My editors had told me beforehand that there is no scene at the end. My guest wanted to stay just to make sure, and he was disappointed when there wasn't one.
Yeah.
So when I tweeted something to that effect, where it's like these, Marvel has trained these hardcore comic book movie fans to sit through the credits for something at the end, and even Fox did it with Deadpool, and I think has done it for X-Men movies too. These fans want to see something at the end, and when they don't, no matter what, even if they like the movie, they still walk out of the theater being like, "Oh man, we just sat through 10 minutes of credits for nothing." Don't you agree? No?
I totally agree. And the other thing that Marvel has made us realize is that with press screenings and sometimes even premieres, they won't show the stinger at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had to ask Simon who paid.
And there was an audience there last night who waited for something after the credits.
Right.
And they were genuinely pissed off there wasn't something.
Grumbling, yeah, of course.
But,
it's just
it left them unhappy.
Sorry, we interrupted you. We continue.
No, it's fine. Marvel also does something kind of cool. I don't know if it's every one of their movies, but while they're making you sit through the credits, at least they're showing you some animated, like stylized version of what you saw in the movie with the credits rolling over it. So there's some entertainment value there. I mean, this one was just words rolling up, and I'm thinking like, okay, well, this isn't going to happen.
Even the opening credits, which I liked, the they were going back and forth, cutting between two things, right? The Bruce's parents and for the opening credits,
right?
Yeah. So the font I thought was like this classy font that gave me a little bit of hope for the movie. But halfway through the movie, I went back to thinking about those titles, and I wanted a big fat like fucking Batman versus Superman like cage match. This is what you're about to see.
Set up like a UFC fight.
It was this very modest, like Oscar-y font.
Yeah.
Yeah, that opening sequence is very
It's just
unusual.
not fun. It just wasn't fun.
And also, I want more Lauren Cohen in my life. I really do. Whenever I can get it. Was she? Don't put her in that role.
Yeah.
That's just terrible. What a terrible waste.
Was that Jeffrey Dean Morgan as the dad?
Oh, interesting.
It looked just like it.
I don't know, actually.
It looked. I mean, I totally thought it was. And yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. So I mean, do you want to talk about some stuff that's not?
Yeah, we can move
Batman?
on.
Okay.
Yeah, that's been about half the show.
So yeah, let's move on.
Yeah.
So Batman and
This movie
Superman,
is
you're either
good.
gonna love it or you're not gonna
It's
not
not
like it.
that. I mean, it's bad,
It's not
but
awful.
It's not that bad.
But
it's
no.
fine.
Yeah,
You'll enjoy.
seriously
You'll
good.
enjoy watching.
It's that bad.
Yeah, you're
But
wrong.
see it for yourself.
No. We respect your opinion, but you're wrong. Okay, so we talked recently about Harry Styles.
Just so we can put him in the headline when I read this up.
Carving out a film career. There's another musician.
Help!
Yeah.
I need somebody.
I hate the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
Me too.
Outside of the first film, I find them deathly dull.
So you've seen them?
I've seen them all. I had to for work.
Hated the
I
first
hate
film.
them.
Haven't seen any of the
Enjoyed the
sequels.
first one.
I'm out.
The other ones are dull, and the last one was dull and shit.
But
Paul McCartney has been signed up.
That's fucking Sir Paul McCartney to
It's
you,
been a
motherfucker.
hard day's night.
But yeah,
And he's now like. Did he run out of money? What is he doing this for?
I don't know. I think because he can, because he's Paul McCartney. I think if Paul McCartney says, I fancy making a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, they shove him in somewhere.
How have I not seen an article about Beatles versus Stones on this?
That's the way I looked at it. I mean,
Yeah.
Keith kind of put an
That's
extra
what
little
we
gloss on his career with that, and
That's
I
what I hope
think
the scene
Paul
is.
looks at this and goes,
Let's do it.
Yeah, why not?
do it.
I think the Stones and the Beatles have been quietly, back-channelly tweaking one another for 100 years. So that I like to look at this as just another piece of that.
Is this the Justice League of Beatles versus Stones?
Yeah, who's
rivalry?
next, man?
Yeah. I don't know what role he's going to have. I'm sure they're going to shoehorn him in the way they've done with many names over the movies.
I'm guessing that because this franchise has these sort of like pompous British, Empire villains. I bet that's what he is. I bet he's like
it's like a one scene.
Yeah, I bet he's like a super high-ranking British villain, empirical sort of figure who shows up and gives Jack Sparrow all kinds of trouble.
Do you know, I think they're going to put him with Keith Richards. I think they're going to play on that Beatles versus Stones.
I thought about that too, but Keith's not. He's not on the list.
Load of press out of it.
Keith Richards is not on the not on the credits right now. That doesn't mean he's not in the movie.
Yeah, I think he's in it.
I think it's pretty much.
I think he's in it.
I would put money on him.
So you think those two will? Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah,
to see those two swashbuckling on screen, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I think Deadline's report on that too said that Disney was feeling a little bullish on this one because it's from the Kon-Tiki guys, and it actually I have mild interest in Pirates 5, having not seen 2, 3, and 4, just because of the Kon-Tiki guys.
I think that they've given this franchise enough of a rest, like just enough time now.
That's true too.
Where it's like, okay, I think I'm ready to go through that again. It hasn't been shoved down my throat. Yeah, because the last two were so ponderous and so muddy and just like. And boring. You're right. Yeah. They made no sense.
I can't even believe you saw them.
Why we have to for work? It's what we do.
Why? Like, I mean, I have to see everything, quote unquote. But like, I know I'm not going to enjoy these movies. I don't understand people who go see movies that they know are going to be bad. Like, why would you see these sequels?
So if someone goes to me, what do you think about Pirates of the Caribbean? And I think it's good, or I think it's shit.
So you have to have an opinion.
I'd like to have an opinion. I feel it's kind of my job. I didn't like the first one,
and I'm out. I'm just done, and I won't have an opinion.
I've watched all the Transformers movies, and I haven't always had to do editorial
I guess I'm
links
in the
to that.
same boat on that. I guess I feel like I can't be left out of that conversation.
And also,
but Pirates, I feel safe.
Well, like with Batman versus Superman, I hate to go back to it again, but it's kind of like if everyone else is saying it's shitty, I want to have my own opinion rather than just being one of those guys that goes, shitty, or oh my god, it's brilliant. I want to have some sort of informed opinion.
Sure.
So I will watch this, even though I'm not a fan of the series.
The difference, too, is that Jack Sparrow is such a Bugs Bunny character that there's no stakes around like what his character arc or what his story winds up being, whereas everybody's freaking out that Batman does this and Superman winds up there, and nobody, you could make Jack Sparrow a space alien. And nobody would. It's not like anybody's childhood is getting ruined here. Yeah. There's just no stakes. So just keep churning them out. It doesn't matter what happens in these stories.
Anyways, we've got a couple of other news bits. There were reports this week that Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell sequels have been greenlit. Simon, is that true?
Yeah, I mean that's the story. I mean
that is the story. Splinter Cell hasn't been made.
But just because something is greenlit doesn't mean it'll actually go ahead. Fantastic Four, they already had plans for a sequel with that. Terminator, Genesis last year, they were like, we've got more movies coming. Those got
It's a blinking green light until the movie opens. And
and then they're like, suddenly someone's taken the bulb out of that light socket. There's no light at all.
We'll see how Assassin's Creed does.
Yeah.
I thought Creed was pretty good. I mean, I think they can play on that. I don't think we want, Adonis to be killing people, so hopefully somebody else will be doing that. But what? Why are you laughing?
He's so cute. I mean, we'll see how Assassin's Creed does. I'm not convinced that that's going to hit the way that they will, that they think. And Splinter Cell, God, how long has Tom Hardy been putting that off? Tom Hardy signs on to these projects, and like, where's that Elton John movie?
Yeah. Shane Black, The Predator. This is The Predator, not to be confused with Predator. Fox have decided that they want to bring it back. We've seen some poster work coming out recently. An interview with Shane Black for Thrillist this week said that he was really reticent about getting on board with it. He was kind of like, I don't really know. But Fox basically turned around and said, okay, what if we make it an event movie? What if we treat it like the Alien movies? We put a shitload of money behind it. We really go for it. We give you a load of money to make it. You can go to town and do whatever the hell you want. Let's really go for tentpole.
Yeah, I've heard that song. It's called Terminator Genesis.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
Don't necessarily.
You can't make a movie an event if it's not an event. It's like saying, I'm going to make a viral video. No, you're not. You're going to make a video, and it might go viral, and it might not.
Yeah.
It's a great point.
That's
I
true.
hear that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's how they get these guys to do this stuff. By the way, you lost me at Shane Black. I get why people like this guy. I totally get it. I see on screen what the things that are appealing, but they are not appealing to me.
I agree. Not a huge Shane Black fan, but looking forward to the Nice Guys and hoping that could be something, but that could go either way.
Looking forward to the Christmas trees in that movie.
But I just want to
break.
see. I want to see a Predator movie
Ryan
that
Gosling,
doesn't
Josh.
suck, because Predators could have been better.
Predators was okay though.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but it could have been better.
It's such a cool premise and such a cool looking character.
I
and
want Schwarzenegger back though.
yeah, that's what I want. I want a Predator movie with Schwarzenegger.
This was what I was going to get onto next, is the fact that there is no comment on Arnie yet. Now, I
Sure,
would
they're
like
working
to
on
see
it.
him back, but I'm still slightly burnt by Terminator Genesis last year, because I thought
One
one
has
of the
nothing to do with
weakest
the
things
other.
in it was Arnie, and I see him getting older and older and
no.
older, and I'm kind of
He
like
was
not
the
like
only
in
good part.
Yeah, he was the best part of the
Yeah,
movie.
see,
Yeah, when he's
I-
fighting each other and shit.
yeah, but it's trying to find the good bit in a pile of poop. It's
When
like,
he's on
oh,
when
well,
he's on screen, the movie works, and when he goes off screen, everything shuts down. Like
Yeah, but I just see him as, in the original movies, and I look at him now, and he's just old. He's almost like a pastiche of what he was. I was happy to see him in the film, but I was like, Jesus, you're old. And I just think he's too old to do it, so I don't know if I want to see him. I don't find him believable as an action hero
Hey
anymore.
man, Sean Connery busted out of The Rock. Was he too old?
But I think, no, true, but I think there's old and there's old. I think some people age better.
Indiana Jones, I can
know.
go. I'm down with the 70-year-old Indiana
You
Jones.
know who's not aging well? Emperor, whatever his fucking name is from The Force Awakens, right?
Yeah.
Andy Serkis's character?
Yeah.
Okay. So he said that he hasn't even read a script for episode 8.
Yep, but I don't think he needs to be honest with you. Obviously, they're already sort of,
What's the name of the character?
Dave. I can't remember.
Dave.
It wasn't. All right, Dave.
Star Wars character named Dave.
That would be amazing.
You must go before Dave. No. Dave's day off. We got Kevin. Sorry. Yeah, I thought that character was one of my least favorite things about The Force Awakens. So I'm not particularly,
But he's going to
worried
be in
about
episode
it.
8.
But
You're talking about Snoke.
yeah.
By the way, is Snoke a giant, or is he just,
Admiral
or was he
Snoke? Is
just?
that it? General Snoke? I don't even know.
Yeah, but is he a giant? I still don't know. I've seen the movie 3 times. Is he a giant, or was that just a giant hologram?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's making up for something.
Because I know
He's
that.
miniature.
Yeah, he's very tiny.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we should read too much into the fact that he hasn't seen the script for episode 8, because I think his role is one where he
Aren't
doesn't
they shooting that
necessarily-
movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they
he
can
can
just
just turn
his
up
shit in a year from now.
Yeah,
you know?
and just shove it in last minute. So I don't think that's too much. But with Star Wars, Harrison Ford has not ruled out a return for Han Solo. I can buy that. For a man that for many years, interviewing him at Junkies, he didn't want to talk about Indiana Jones. He didn't want to talk about Han Solo, but everybody would ask him about it. He was kind of like, oh, God, okay, I'll talk about it. But now he's like, yeah, well, let's not rule out a Han Solo return. And
If that turns out to be a fake death, I quit movies.
Yeah.
I quit. Because
That'd be some bullshit.
doesn't necessarily mean they'll bring the character back. It could be flashbacks. It could be inserted
yeah.
footage. So don't rule that out. But do you know what? I mean, if they did bring him back,
or if it's some kind of time travel thing or something. If Star Wars brings in time travel, I also quit movies. I quit.
Listen, there's only 2 Harrison Ford sequels that I get.
And let me tell you what.
so
Listen,
is this
listen.
not a good time to bring up the fact that Episode 9 is called Star Wars Time Travel and shit?
Well, Episode 8 is called Star Wars with Looper director
yeah.
Ryan Johnson.
Star Wars 8
So
Looper.
I am concerned. I have concerns already about that movie, but this is definitely going to the top of the list.
Someone said Cyborg Han Solo. No.
No, just let him be
I
dead.
just want sequels to The Fugitive and to Air Force One. Okay, give me another movie where Harrison Ford is president.
off my
and I'm
plane.
there.
Yeah.
All right. What else is going on this week?
Well, I feel sorry this week for My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2. Reviews came out for that early this week, weren't glowing, and it seems that every man and his dog and their girlfriends, wives, partners are going to go and see Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, not a great release date. The counter programming move. I don't know. If
Sometimes that pays off and sometimes it doesn't.
A little too long. The wait for this
That's
franchise.
the other thing. Like, what the promise of Nina was so big after that first one.
Right.
Where that, oh, here's this fresh new voice, and then all of a sudden 18 years goes by or something, and nothing happens. What happened there? Who's her agent?
Have you guys been watching Daredevil at all?
I've saved it. My wife's going away next weekend, so I'm going to watch it. So I've heard about that sequence.
I've only watched
though.
five episodes. It's going slow for me.
I could not finish the first season.
Really?
Couldn't finish it.
Interesting.
I don't think it was bad. I just got bored of it, and I just moved on to other things.
I agree that that Daredevil, at least, too long. It's 13 episodes. It needs to be 10.
Yeah, I had the same experience with Jessica Jones, by the way. Got about 4 episodes in, 5 episodes in. I was like, okay, I get it.
I agree. It's a little bit of a slog, but I do plan to continue, and I have liked the episodes that I've seen. One more thing that
we mentioned Man Up on last week's episode.
I don't know why, but
Tess Morris. Oh, it's good. I just wanted to say I spotted this week that it's on Netflix. So if you are looking for something that you want to do rom-commy this weekend, if you don't fancy My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2, I would suggest watch that on Netflix, Man Up.
All right.
So just want to say, if you're fancying that, not Batman vs. Superman, stay in, watch that shit.
If I was going to watch a Netflix movie, I'd go with Pee-wee.
Is
it good? I haven't seen that yet.
It's good. It's I don't know. It's good.
That wasn't glowing.
It's like a funny, it's a Pee-wee movie. Who cares?
How many movie
exactly
podcasts out there, though, are you going to hear the word fancying, guys? That's why you're my man, Simon.
Thank you.
Josh, so before we sign off, we did want to, since you are here and you've seen it and you loved it like I did, Simon has not laid eyes on it yet, but he's going to soon. Let's talk about The Invitation.
Do not sleep on this movie. This movie is great.
But, let's tread very carefully, because the less you know, the better.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I went in knowing nothing.
Me too.
All I knew about this movie was the Draft House Films logo on the screener that I watched.
Enough.
Which, or will give you, okay, this is going to be...
They have interesting taste, those guys, whether you like or don't like the movie.
This is true. There's going to be a certain kind of thing. And so, right away, I'm sort of like... This is my experience of watching the film. The first 20 minutes or so, I despised it. I was like, this is hipster garbage. This is film school trash, trying to be, a parlor trick, and I'm not buying it. And I got up and started washing the dishes. At some point, about 30 minutes in, 40 minutes in, something happens, and I sort of was like back on the couch. By the end of the movie, I was losing my mind at how deliciously twisted it was, and how well crafted it was, and the fact that you just didn't see all this, even just the last. I love movies where the last shot is a big payoff.
One of the best in years.
Love it. It's Kubrickian. It's got a little Nolan in it. It's got a little bit of
it's a
Hitchcock in it.
It's a special movie.
It is a special movie.
I think it could very well wind up on my top 10 at the end of the year.
It is at the top of my list for this year so far right now.
Wow.
Yep.
I mean, I'm only about 30 movies in, but right now I don't think anything beats it.
I literally had no idea that this film existed until...
I don't think anybody will. It's going to be limited release on April 8th. So
I got an email about it, and I've been sent a link to watch it online. And I'm really glad to hear that actually it's solid, because there's a lot of films I've come across, especially on platforms like Netflix, that films I haven't heard of that kind of have a premise like this, or something where the trailer looks really good, and then when you actually watch the film, it just doesn't deliver. So if you started off not liking it, and by the end you were like, it's in my top 10 of the year, that's something
the trailers for this, by the way, are brilliant.
Yeah.
There's a teaser and a trailer. They're both I've seen them dozens of times because I've showed so many people. And we will have a story coming up on the Wrap. Myself and Matt Donnelly had an incredible lunch with the filmmakers behind The Invitation. So we will. That should be coming in a week or two. The movie opens April 8th.
But don't just watch it. It's fine to watch it at home, though.
Oh,
you
no,
don't need to go to a
absolutely.
movie theater for this. I almost think it's better to watch it at home. It'd be creepier to watch it at home.
I watched it at home with a friend, and we were talking and through the movie, sort of throwing out theories. Because we weren't sure what to make of it. I think it would have been also interesting to see in the theater where you're not having that conversation,
right?
And you're experiencing it with a crowd. But yeah, I mean, this is fine for VOD, and it will chill you to the bones.
Two more things I'll say. One of my biggest pet peeves about films in general is when the characters in the scene do not react like a human being would react.
Right.
And every beat in this movie
felt very real.
Felt like that's exactly how you would, if you witnessed this, or if this was happening to you, that's exactly what you would do, or exactly what this character would do.
Right.
Perfect. That's great direction and great screenwriting.
And it keeps the audience off balance. It's a very, very strong script.
And the subtleties in it allows for subtleties. It doesn't hit you over the head with stuff and try to connect things for you. It allows you to sort of be like, was that? Oh, wait, huh? And it's brilliant.
All right, so just keep this conversation in mind. April 8th, it comes out.
The invitation.
Yeah. I think that'll probably do it for us, guys. Is there anything you wanted to plug or...
Yeah, you can look at all my stuff on Forbes. I've got some stuff coming up on IGN as well soon.
Ooh,
very exciting.
okay.
Interview with the cast of Hardcore Henry.
Yes, I spoke to Timur this week.
Very good.
I forgot he was calling me. It was like I was having a bad night. Guy calls at 9 o'clock. I was like, oh, shit. Hey.
Dude, not now. I'm taking a crap. Yeah, that's coming up. But you can find me on Forbes. You can find me on Twitter at ShowbizSimon, and I'm usually ranting about stuff on there.
Cool, Josh.
We're just rolling out a lot of Batman versus Superman content this weekend, and my big one's going to be basically like the 45 things that just don't make sense or connect. And I've been curating this list now for many days, and it should be a doozy. It'll come out probably Monday morning.
And we can find you at JLD Light.
JLD Light, JLDLITE.
Guys, I always forget to say this, because Riley would always do it. Rate, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Thank you for listening to the Popcorn Talk Network. I can't talk network. I'm Jeff Sneider at the Wrap, at the InSneider on Twitter. Have a great Batman vs Superman weekend.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
Views expressed here are those of the hosts only, not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners and